listening to IBNX. IBNXradio.com.
Welcome to Fire to Inspire. I'm your host, Angel Yasmin. You are listening to Next 411 on IBNXradio.com. Our goal is to inspire you to ignite your passion and purpose. We will direct you for greater happiness, love, relationships, health, and fulfillment. Let's focus on your superpowers, values, core beliefs, and help determine what's important for your next chapter in life. All right, it's getting real hot up in here. Let's fire away. Welcome back, Atlanta. I'm your host, Angel Yasmin. Thank you for tuning in each week from 1 to 2 p.m. on IBNX Radio Network on Next 411 on, Thursdays. Every Thursdays. Join us as we dive in on our Diary of a Preacher's Kid. So here we go. Let's fire away. Dear Diary, I was talking to my mother yesterday, and we were talking about the change in weather and how weird it is today. And so we were talking about how the thunderstorms, if you ever hear the thunderstorms and the lightning going on right now, it is kind of roaring. Like if you hear it and the thunder kind of rolls, it lasts a little bit longer than it does usually. Now, fight me if I'm wrong. But also the lightning, if you notice the lightning, it's just, I don't know. When you look in the sky, it's a little bit different. It's a little alarming, should I say. So my mom used the analogy, the sounds of the thunderstorms, as God's footsteps. And as you hear the thunderstorm roll and thunder and just do its thing, it's not how it used to be back in the day. You know, we would hear it, but now it's like the thunder's like boom, boom. I mean, it gets louder and louder, and it lasts a little bit longer than it usually does. Why is that? What time is it? The lightning is aggressive, and it just stays in the sky a little bit longer than you would want it to. But it is time. It is definitely time to recognize the signs. Whether the signs are coming from the Bible, it doesn't matter. It is time to be aware and awaken. It is time for the prayer warriors. It's time for the prophets. It is time for the visionaries. It is time for anybody that can see beyond the third dimension to stand up and start talking about what it is they see in this season, in this new decade. 2020 is the season and the year of new vision, but it's also a season of shift. But it's not something that you're thinking about. Everybody, in the church world, we say it's a spiritual warfare, but really it's chemical. But to me, if you want all my star seeds and my indigo children, yes, I believe in that because I believe that we have been called for a mission. And so where I'm going with this, if you have a gift, not a talent to sing, not a talent, all of those things matter. But in this season, what really matters are the visionaries, the people that can see beyond the third dimension. It is time for you to come forth with what God or what the universe is trying to tell you, because now we are in a universal war. What does that mean? It could be chemical, it could be spiritual, it could be physical, and damn sure mental. I am here because I'm not the preacher, but what is an angel? An angel is a messenger. And whether I have another guest on the show or not, to bring forth what it is that God wants to put on this platform, because now I'm getting a little bit more serious about the show. I see why he woke me up in the middle of the night. Well, it wasn't even in the middle of the night. I was dead right there, smack dab in my bedroom, and my husband was laying right next to me, but the light was still on. But I kind of jumped out of myself, and I don't care if it scares you. You can call me crazy, call me whatever. I don't care. They don't call me everything, just like Jesus did. But the thing is, I had a vision, and I didn't know anything about podcasting. And God said, it's time for you to use your throat. It is time to use your mouth. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is something that was not on my notes. I'm coming straight off my head right now because this is what he's giving me to tell you. It is time to awaken those gifts that you've been afraid to open up. People use it as psychic abilities, clairvoyancy, prophecy, whatever. It doesn't matter. All of it is the same thing. But what are you using your gift for is the question, whether it's light or darkness. And I stand to tell you today that if you're not in the light, you will be left in the dark. And that's all I got to say. It is time to be enlightened. That is why I'm saying that. So I don't want people to walk around in fear. Last night, I could not sleep. Let's be honest. The last couple of maybe 4 or 5 nights, I have been going to bed literally at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning, because God is downloading so much in my spirit. I wouldn't even, again, this is not on my notes. This is coming straight off my dome. Some of you know what the third eye means. The third eye is, don't let this scare you because you're a Christian or you have a different religion. All of these things matter when it comes to universal matters. We're getting serious right now. It's time to take things a little bit serious. It just kind of makes me feel weird to post a picture these days about an event that I'm at when nobody is really being taught the content that God wants you to see. We're skipping over all of that. There's no more church time. And if you're in the church, it's time to preach or minister to what it is that God is speaking to the people that are in place to lead the people, to lead the shepherd, to lead whatever. You have to be over dominion. But the thing is, we've got to come from a universal standpoint now. People are hurting. People are dying. People are killing themselves. And they're going crazy because they don't know what's going on. They're lost. Their spirit has shifted. And if you are one that God is actually calling, coming forth, it is time to take your place. And it doesn't mean that you got to stand on top of the mountain hills. If that's what God leads you to do, do it. But even if you're a healer, a natural healer outside of church, it's time to start using those abilities in the light. I keep saying the light because there's so many people out there that are faking. And God is uncovering the people that are not doing the right thing in light. And he's going to uncover you if you're not in the light. And I'm just telling you right now, if you're not in the light, he will uncover you. But you have a choice to say, I want to change. And God, use me for your ability, not my own ability. Erase ego. Start seeing things from the third dimension and from God's eye view. So now I have to say this. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. And I hate that part because I don't want anybody to be hurt. But think about anybody that's not in the light, because there's only, I like to kind of break down the word in love. But there's only 2 teams. Love, that's it. Anything outside of love is sin. Everybody wants to talk about, she this, she that, she doing this, she doing that. But if I had a scanner, if I was interviewing God today and I said, God, please scan me. And guess what, y'all? I have made some crazy mistakes in my life. Mistakes that to me are like not that bad. But to you, it might be horrendous. But God sees glory. And when he scans your heart, he's not going to look at whether you've been the best preacher, showing up every Sunday. He don't care about none of that. He's laughing at some of y'all. He got a sense of humor, just like me and you. He's scanning the heart to see what's going on. And the thing is, we are taking each other for granted. And not only are we taking each other for granted, we're taking the world, the earth, Mother Earth for granted. So I'm going to keep going. If you say the Lord is my refuge, and I use Lord because that's what I believe in, doesn't mean that you have to believe in that. Just understand the words, and that's it. And you make the Most High your dwelling. No harm will overtake you. No disaster will come near your tent. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all of your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. We're in that cobra season. Artificial intelligence, 5G, farming, coronavirus, bird flu just came up. Just saw that last night. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Global warming that we're all ignoring. We're ignoring global warming. Okay, I'll keep going. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike a fence. And I already said that. So you will trample the great lion and the serpent because he loves me. He loves you. And I know that last night I kind of felt a little weary in the spirit. Because one thing about it, if you are a child of the universe, the child of God, you are a child of a king. You are a king. You are God. Let's just go there. If you let him dwell in you. But I want you to understand your power. If you choose love, you choose light, and light dwells within you. Make it simple just like that. Choose to love one another, and not just one another, but everything around you that's living. And I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me and answer him, and I will be him, and I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor him. I say those words to say that a lot of people are walking in fear. I got a little weary last night, but Kurt Franklin put up a video that was late. Everybody was up late last night, I think. But Kurt Franklin said something about if you feel like you have not had a relationship with God. I don't know why. This is so weird, y'all. I got to apologize to my guest. I got to keep rolling. So sorry. I love you guys, and I can't wait to put you on. But if you feel like you have not had a relationship with God lately, he loves you. You have a choice to come to the light. Do not feel guilty. Don't hold it against yourself. Because that's what I felt. And the reason why I feel things is for me to come on and experience those things and tell you my experience and say, hey, this is how you can get out of that situation or that mindset. So it won't overtake you. Because whatever you consume, if you can keep consuming the news, keep consuming the bad news and not understand what faith is, you will be consumed by what you are consumed by, what you're consuming. So watch what you are reading. Watch what you're consuming all day. Continue to live your life in faith and use your common sense. Use your wisdom that the universe has given you. Today, we're going to highlight some events that are going on in the world that we should consider taking heed to. And my people, now King James 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And that's the point. We don't know what's going on. We all over here just aloof and like we're eating everything. We're acting all, like we're just better than thou. Instagram kings and queens. That's what it's all about, right? That's why we're killing each other killing ourselves, not each other, and each other spiritually and mentally because we made social media a lie. So now I'm being intentional on what I post. Because what you put out, your energy, everybody is a ball of energy. What you put out is what is you're going to give out. And what is your audience consuming? You is always seeing is your ass and your titties. Yeah, I said it. Sometimes I show my titties. Who cares? But the point is, we're all human. But right now, what is the main concern? I know y'all are like thinking like, oh, Angel, where'd you come from? You're a preacher's kid. You ain't in the word. You don't even know the Bible. You don't even know nothing about nothing. Guess what? I have a close relationship with God. And not only that, I have a close relationship with the universe. What are you doing? Are you just walking around here in the matrix and thinking that nothing is happening to you? nothing is happening. No, nothing is happening around you is the right thing to say. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my very special guests because I feel like they are a key piece on why we should be talking about the environment today. So let's welcome Carla Gamper and Linda Pitsoulis. How you doing?
Great, Angel.
Look, I'm sorry I had to give you a little Bible study a minute ago, but it wasn't really Bible. It's just a universal message, and I think that all of you, and can you agree that we are kind of, we're getting the signals. Yep. Can you agree? Yes. So, guys, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell everybody who you are and what you do and what your biggest passions are in this season. Go ahead, Linda.
Well, my name is Linda Pitsoulis, and I go by Linda Pitsoulis, and I'm going to go ahead and say my title is a personal evolution development specialist.
Yes.
I have been studying the evolution of humanity and how that relates to the evolution of man and the evolution of culture. And I'm here to embark on a nice, lively conversation. And boy, has it been lively. Thank you, Angel.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here, Linda.
Thank you.
Carla, tell us what you got going on.
Well, I'm in construction and that industry, but also my biggest passion is in speaking and teaching on this topic and others, and I'm also a master's student, and I study pretty much anything and everything and try to figure out how it all works together.
Absolutely. Now, there has been some very alarming facts about the climate change. And climate change meaning global warming across the nation. And I just feel like we've ignored it, And so what are some of the concerns that we might have here? What are some of the current events that we've kind of faced on global warming that you think that we need to take heed to? You guys can jump in whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I think global warming is an interesting topic.
Yes.
There are researchers and authoritative people on both sides who will tell you why they believe it's happening and why they believe it's not happening.
Right.
But regardless of which side of that argument you take, the fact is that human beings do have an effect on our environment. And so there are so many issues that are worthy of looking at, global warming or whether or not that's happening or what. But there are others that we need to look at, I think, that are something that we can take some action on ourselves. Global warming is kind of hard for us to do anything personally, right? Because that's a big thing.
Yes, it's a big thing.
And like I said, there's science on both sides, and I encourage everybody to read the science on both sides of the issue.
Yes.
Because if you only read one side of a topic, you can get knowledge, but you don't have perspective. And with perspective comes wisdom. So I tend to study both sides of any topic that I'm interested in,
right.
The pro and the con, because then I can form a really educated opinion and thoughts on it. And some of the other topics that you brought up too, like agriculture.
Yes.
And clean water, clean air. Some of those are topics that are a little closer to home. We have to kind of look at first things first, I think, don't you, Linda? And if we don't have a healthy environment, none of the rest of it matters because we won't be here for long.
Right.
So I think we need to look at first things first. And one of the topics that I had brought up to you earlier was agriculture.
Yes.
And looking at more sustainable ways of producing food for the world. And that's why I was saying a return to organics, I think, is really important.
Big time.
And eating locally, supporting your local farmers markets. Don't partake in buying such exotic foods that have to travel halfway across the world and have to be irradiated and things like that to stay fresh. Eat locally and support those local farmers because they are the backbone.
Yes. Now, Carla, let me ask you a question. What exactly is happening to our farms now? What's going on?
What's happening is that small and family farms are disappearing at an alarming rate, and corporate farms are taking over. So small family farms, 100 or up to 1,000 acres even, it can still be pretty small. And and when they're spread out, they have impact, but it's not quite as dramatic as the impact of a corporate farm that has thousands of head of cattle on a dairy farm that's putting out tons of methane and tons of animal waste that seeps into the water systems and makes it so that those of us who live in rural areas and get water from wells can't use that well water because it's toxic.
Wow. Now, I've heard that a lot of people are actually, the people that are actually over the farm, the farmers, that the government is really cracking down on them. And they're shutting them down. Is that true?
That's true in many cases.
And tell me exactly, why are they doing that? What's the whole point of why are they trying to, come between that sector?
Corporate agriculture is a big industry, and it's a big lobby as well.
Yes.
And if you look at any big industry, big pharma, petro, big energy, big agriculture, they have big lobbies, and those lobbies are there for not the benefit of us, of human beings, the benefit of those industries.
Yes.
And so the corporate farms have these big lobbyists. They're looking out for the agendas of the big farms. And the more they can buy up the land of the small farmers and put them out of business, the more money they make.
Wow.
And the more control they have over us. And that includes companies like Monsanto, echo, who controls, I think it's more than 90% of the world's soybean seed.
Wow.
Or at least the American soybean seed. And I know that when farmers plant that they have to sign an agreement that they won't plant, or I don't know if they sign anything, but they agree that they won't plant anything else but the Monsanto seed. And they're not allowed to save seeds because that would infringe on Monsanto's patent.
What?
So, yeah, and then that keeps them committed to using Monsanto's chemicals, too, to put on top of the crops that seed has been genetically modified to be able to withstand.
Wow.
So it's seed on top of chemicals, on top of other things.
Now, how would this affect the country worldwide? How would that affect it if they shut down the farms or minimize it? Because a lot of the farmers are committing suicide. The suicide rate has went up significantly. So what does that mean for the country?
That's very sad. Well, I think definitely farmers, independent farmers at smaller and family farms, because they're closer to it, I just feel that they have a closer relationship with the land and the animals. And that they're, in many cases, I think, raised more humanely and with more care and more love and more attention to replenishing the soil and doing things for their animals that are raised humanely. And personally, I'd rather eat food that has a good energy about it than something that came off an assembly line, butcher line.
Yeah, okay.
So,
well, how can the farms universally be saved? Is that a good question to ask? I mean, what can we do to try to help save the farms? So
that's a good question. I think on any of the topics that we talk about today, it's important for us to look at what can we affect.
Yes, that's important.
And how we can affect this is with our choices. We can choose when we go to the grocery store to forego the cookies and the processed things that cost more money and spend that little bit of extra money on the organic fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
Or go to the local farmers market and support those people.
Yes.
Because when there's less call and less market for these, I call them robo foods. Because let's just call them what they are.
Yes.
They're foods that have been grown without minerals and things in the soil.
And they've been mutated.
Right. And without things that actually make them healthy to us to consume.
Yes.
So they're really, it's just filling up a void in our stomach, but they're not nourishing us.
Yeah.
Not nourishing our body or our spirit.
Yeah.
And so that's how we can affect this. We can make good choices. We can choose to eat organic, choose not to buy the garbage that's in the middle aisles in the grocery store. And to shun products that are genetically modified.
Yeah.
And to not use Roundup.
Please
don't use Roundup.
I know, do not use Roundup. That is scary. But listen, I want to kind of go a little deeper on the mutation, the food that we're eating. Like, for example, the little small grape tomatoes are mutated. They're not real tomatoes. A lot of the broccoli that we're eating is not real. Like give more example of things that you were eating and we don't even realize it's robo food.
Right.
Like, what are some other things that we don't know about?
Well, for example, corn. There's almost no corn that we consume that is not genetically modified.
Wow.
And most of the corn has been engineered to be able to withstand Roundup. And as I understand it, there's also another an insect DNA that's been introduced into a lot of corn too, and it creates a natural enemy to the corn borer and other pests that consume corn. And so what that does is sort of explode the stomach of the pest that eats the corn.
Whoa.
Well, since this has been implemented in farming, one study that I read suggested that there has been an influx in stomach issues, in health issues in human beings, stomach and digestive issues. And these things haven't been around long enough for us to understand the long-term effects.
Wow.
And that's the problem, is that everything that we're potentially going to talk about here today, they rush to market because it's all about profit.
It is.
It's not about people, it's about profit.
Yes.
And they rush these things to market before they've been significantly tested, and we don't know the long-term effects.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important for us to be aware. We can no longer just sit in idle complacency and think the government is going to take care of us, because really the government is kind of on the side of corporations and business. It's not really so much for the people, even though they might make you think that it is. And the legislation is all benefiting the corporations. And I'm not anti-corporation or anti-making money. I want everybody
but it's to the point where we need to be. Let's just be real. It's to the point, like, who is going to be brave enough to stand up and talk about these issues? Because I just do not like the fact that I'm eating food that is not real.
Right.
Is that fair? Like, really think about it. I mean, why are we letting people tell us what to eat?
And that's why
it's put in our bodies with no nutrients.
Right. And that's why it's so important for us to be aware. And that's why I'm glad to be part of what you're doing, is to change the world by creating more awareness.
Yes.
Because when we're aware, we read those labels and we know what we're putting in ourselves. We choose organic restaurants or farm-to-table restaurants, support local farmers markets, and that's what we can do to make little incremental change. If every single person made a little bit of change for the better every day, think of how much better the world would be.
Oh my God. And this is the thing, Linda, you can chime in on this, because this is you, boo. Tell us, like, beyond the food. We like to talk about, oh, I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian, I'm eating right because it's a lifestyle. But what about our conscious minds? Why do you think we need to eat right consciously? What does it do to our conscious mind or subconscious mind?
Well, overall, I mean, obviously, the more aware you are, and I'm in 100% agreement with you, it's these kind of conversations that people, if they expand them, so talk to your neighbor about it or your family about it. It's all about discussing and having these deep conversations, because all those tortilla chips and Doritos and all those things are made of corn.
Right.
Which is...
Woo!
Okay.
Right. Syrup and all of that.
So,
corn syrup.
Yeah, corn syrup and the corn oil.
Yes.
So everything, every restaurant that you're going to, you're getting affected in this way. So when Claire had said, avoid the things that are in the middle of the supermarket, you want to shop the perimeter of the supermarket.
Yes.
Stay out of those aisles.
Oh my God.
Because what this does is basically you're increasing the toxicity of your body. And it takes a lot of effort to get it all out, and you're constantly feeding on it more. Yes. Your liver is made to clear out toxins and things you're taking in. No matter how diligent you personally are, inadvertently you're taking it in anyway.
Yeah.
And that, like you said, it's just not fair.
It's not.
And it's not about doing away with corporations. It's affecting their profit.
Yeah, it
affect their profit by not purchasing their products, and then they will start changing.
Yeah, see,
I mean, I'm just going to bring up McDonald's.
Ooh, that's good.
Didn't they bring up some, like they're putting some supposedly healthy things on the menu? They're trying to appease the people and the parents. Now, if you take those apples that are in the little bag, they might stay fresh for weeks on end. Yeah.
But what is it that's making it stay fresh? The chemicals that's on the fruit.
Exactly. So they're taking measures to satisfy the mother that's conscientious and giving apples, and the mother's thinking she's giving her kid, something healthy.
Right.
And yet you have to stop and realize, put them out of the bag for a while and see how long they're going to last. French fry, you find it under the car seat a year later. It looks just the way it looked when you took it out of the bag.
Right.
And we're feeding this stuff to our kids. And with the Roundup situation, the gastrointestinal tract and the
cancer,
colon.
lymphoma. It's causing lymphoma.
Yeah.
Big time.
Well, it's causing the whole body to be in a stress mode, because these are all chemicals and things that are totally foreign to nature. The human body, I mean, God created us. We are capable of healing ourselves if we could feed ourselves organic, natural things.
Wow.
The big pharma is not going to allow that.
No.
So we need to stand up for things.
Yes, we do. We do. We do. Linda, thank you so much for that. And I knew that, you see, I just know that you two just know the facts and you know the knowledge. And a lot of people like our culture, I don't think enough cultures know about this education to understand why are you eating differently in this season, in this new decade. Because it's more prevalent as artificial intelligence comes in, all that radiation that's on us. We better be saving ourselves. You think you're saving your soul, you need to be saving your physical body, because we are human. At the end of the day, yes, we're experiencing a spiritual experience, but at the same time, we have to take care of our physical bodies in a different way. Because when you understand, when you ingest food, it's not about just eating. That's feeding your ego. When you're eating and you say, I'm hungry, I'm hangry, I'm angry and I'm hungry, feed me now. You're feeding your ego that's hungry. But now it's time to think about, how do you eat? Why do I eat? It's to feed the nutrients that you're missing in your body. That's what I feel. Helping those cells in your body do what it needs to do to keep you going, to keep you growing. You get what I'm saying? I just think that it's time for us to feed our minds in a different way, because I don't know, maybe this is my own theory, but I feel that, and I got this theory because I did a 3-week fast, and it was spiritual and it was also just physical because I wanted to be fine at the time, but I didn't realize how much it was going to fine tune my mind. Oh my God, I felt like I was superhuman after that 3-week fast, and I was juicing, and that's why I'm so quick to get a juice in the morning instead of going to get an egg or bacon in the morning or something. I don't eat bacon, but you know what I mean? I'm very conscious of at least starting my morning off with nutrients in my body when I wake up in the morning. I may not be, the most healthiest woman. I might not be the skinniest thing in the world, but I feel good. I'm thinking well. You're getting rid of all that fog that's in your brain. And people don't realize how important it is. They don't want to talk about that side, that supernatural side, that food can help you be superhuman. If y'all want to tune in on that, keep on going. But y'all want to say anything on that?
Well, yeah, I do want to jump in on that, because you said something about feeding the body. It's not just about the body. Let me put it this way. The body and the soul are one, right? We are navigating this earthly plane through the body, which is the soul. In order to even be motivated and to become more aware of everything that's going on around you and what's coming in, some people have intuition. I mean, I met a woman during the summer. We were having a salad and we were in Greece, and she goes, I could literally taste whether or not there's chemicals on a salad.
Oh, wait.
She has that degree of intuitiveness and taste buds and things like that. So the healthier you eat, the clearer your mind is. But the clearer your mind is, that's how your behaviors are affected. So it really takes you to getting centered in yourself.
That's it.
Being in connection with your soul, being in connection with Source.
That's it.
And that is the first step in really taking on any and every complexity that's going on in the world right now.
You're right.
It's up to us on a personal level to evolve ourselves, to recognize that, if we're sitting there in anger because we had a minor argument with somebody, we need to figure out how we could let those kind of things go. Because what is that doing? It's just increasing, our blood pressure, the cortisol level, in our bodies, and those are all affecting us.
Our moods,
everything,
hormones, everything.
Everything is so interrelated. See, and that's what. When we're talking about all the pollution and the global warming and things like that, we have to make the connections. Now, it's really complex to make the connections from, like the corporate level, but on an individual basis. Do your finances not affect your emotions? Don't your emotions affect your body? Doesn't your body affect your relationships? if you could grasp the intensity and the implications of every action you take affecting every aspect of your life, and then really pay attention to that, and then it expands little by little. So now how could you do that? It's about being introspective, not being on social media 24/7. Take an extra 10 minutes off that, or 15, and just sit with yourself in silence. You don't even have to have music on, unless it's very tranquil music to really draw you within. You need to feed your soul, just one-on-one. I'm not saying listening to preachers constantly and not introspecting. You have to contemplate, think about things, and just be with you. And it's I don't know how deep and how long we have. But
Go deep. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. I want your gift to go forth.
Well, to that same topic, and you were talking about the Bible before, and one of the things that the disciples and the people said to Jesus the Christ, they said, well, Master, what should we eat? And should we fast or should we not fast? And what should we do? And he said, don't worry so much about what you eat, and I'm paraphrasing here, but don't worry so much about what you put in your mouth. What's more important is what comes out of your mouth.
Ooh,
and what that means
is, Carla.
Or what that means to me at least, is that how we perceive things, what we say, our actions, and how we're looking at things in the world. So although it's very important for us to be aware of our food and where it comes from and to make those good choices, because that's something we can do to affect this physical world that we reside in, but it's equally and maybe even more important as to how we perceive things, how we choose to look at something. Some people, they'll come in a room and the first thing they do is complain about the traffic or what happened in the drive-thru or what happened at work or whatever. How do you, as Linda was saying, how do you choose to conduct yourself? Are you somebody who looks at the positive side of thing and looks for the good in others? Or do you always want to look at the negative? Because that is just as important. Our overall consciousness and awareness of ourselves and how we come across and our soul is just as important as what we do.
That's important. And let's stay right there on the soul. My husband, he's Jewish, and we had a conversation late one night, and he said that the Jewish people are actually trying to convert over to veganism. They want to be clean as possible for spirit. They can hear from the source, or God, whatever you want to call it. I call it God. I call it Jesus Christ. I don't care what you serve. It doesn't matter in this matter. This is right. You just need to know the knowledge behind how your soul needs to evolve. Now, he was saying the Jews want to go clean, because if you're clean in your physical man, like your outer man, that means your inner man is going to hear and be connected a little bit closer to God. Now, think about this. Now, this is my husband's theory. I cannot take credit for this, and it just blew my mind. He said, think about this. Why are we eating chicken and we don't eat a snake? We don't eat lion. Somebody might be eating it. I'm not eating it. Do y'all eat snake and lion? No. Are you eating elephant? Are you eating, we're eating chicken and we're eating pig. We're eating all of these things that are low vibration. If you look at a chicken, what do you do with a chicken? You try to go catch it, it's going to run. That means you're going to be a chicken. Your spirit is going to take on that animal. We're going to go deep. Let's go there. Your spirit can take on anything. My mama used to make fun of me and say, honey, pray over your wig because you don't know what kind of spirit's on it. I used to laugh at her. I'm like, no, I'm not going to pray over my wig. Are you kidding me? But everything around you has energy. If you haven't noticed, everything has energy. And so they were saying that because the reason why they wanted to change that whole thing, that practice of eating meat, is because they want to be pure in spirit. They want to be divinely connected to God. They want to make sure that they're pure, their spirit is pure to hear from him. And honestly, when I was going through my fast, I heard, and I'm talking about that 3 weeks, I was cleaning, I was fasting, and I was detoxing, but I did not know that I was increasing my vibration. What is vibration? That is, somebody say your aura, your energy, spirit, your spirit. It doesn't matter. But people want to worry about their outside appearance so much in this year. You better let it go. You better be working on that soul. You better be working on that inner man, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters.
So I agree with you. And
Yes.
and I think that anything anyone can do to increase the evolution of their soul is very important, whether it's eating cleaner, and I think we're all kind of leaning towards that,
Yes.
and living cleaner, reducing our carbon footprint, doing meditation, doing yoga, things like that.
Yeah.
I think one of the other things that's really important is coming to an understanding that no man is an island. So that means there's nothing that we do, and Linda alluded to this too, nothing that we do that doesn't affect someone or something else in some way. And we need to realize too that it's not just me, it's not just America, it's not just the UK, it's not just, there's campaigns, America first, India first, I can't remember, there's another country I heard, and it's not this one country first. We have to realize that we are all interconnected, and this current virus outbreak, I don't want to get into that because that's too long of a topic. But,
It is,
But,
yeah.
but it's a good example of how we are so interconnected. Something that happened across the world is now here, and we're all being affected by it. And we have to realize that all of our choices, whether it's the choice to use Roundup or to purchase certain things from non-environmentally friendly or not people-friendly companies, all of those things affect the world. And we have to realize that when we finally learn to treat each other the way we want to be treated, and the earth, right, too, because that's the only place we have to live as of right now.
Yeah.
I think that's when we're going to see
grave danger. Yeah.
Definitely. That all alludes to the evolution of the soul, which is the highest calling.
It is. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm gonna interject a little bit there, along the lines of what you're saying, Carla. That yes, we all affect each other, but let's just use the coronavirus just in that regard.
Yeah.
Imagine it started in one place with one person in China. That's how connected we are. It's the separateness that people experience and feel that is time to change. We all have to recognize our inner relation, and that when you mentioned even energy, our bodies extend beyond us. Like when we talk about the aura, energy, frequency, magnetic energy. And yeah, I mean, if you're, she's talking off the, well, I mean, why are there electrocardiograms?
I know, right? Yeah.
Okay, where's the magnetic resonant MRIs?
Yes, see?
Okay,
Yeah.
so we are energy.
Yes, we
So
are.
we put out, the aura is a scientific fact.
It is.
that we don't end beyond our skin. We go further out.
Yes.
So as we, and the coronavirus is proving it too, right?
It is.
You know,
It is.
our affect out there is significant. And we have to start interacting with people and communicating with people on deeper levels so that we could really connect heart to heart.
Oh my God.
It's a brain-heart cohesion that we need.
Yes.
And that's basically what, we've entered what we call the digital age,
Yes,
right?
we have.
It used to be the radio age, then it was the television age, now we're in the digital age. It's given us endless opportunities to connect with each other.
Absolutely.
Not get distracted by each other.
Wow.
The objective is to connect with real things that matter. And really take it far, build communities that are talking deep about deep subjects.
Yes.
But it also, you can't go in there, like carrying on about something. No, you have to be centered.
Yes.
How do you get centered? You connect with your soul, you connect with your source. And a lot of that has to do with what's going on with you. You have to look at your patterns, and a lot has to do with the brain.
Oh, it does.
The brain has evolved just like the human has evolved. I mean, we had the brain of a caveman way back when, right?
I know, right.
Our brain is evolving. And the complexities that we're facing right now in humanity, our brain has the capacity, but we have to turn it on.
Yeah.
And they say we only use 10% of our brain's potential. We need to tap into that other 90%. And there are techniques to do that. And once we increase our brain's capacity to handle the complexities that are out there, we could start being far more proactive than we are now.
Tapping into the power that we do not use.
And it involves, it also involves the energy. It's connected to the energy. There is basically, you know how we relate to the different circulatory system, the blood system, the vessels and all that.
Yeah.
I believe it's a whole new system. It's a new inner technology that's been developed and discovered, not developed, discovered recently. And it's really a matter of using it to affect the energy, because the more you increase your brain's capacity, the more you will start doing things naturally and organically that benefit you, your soul, and your physiology.
Yes.
And the frequency that you're putting out will affect more and more people.
That's so interesting, Linda, and probably enough for a whole nother topic on one of Angel's shows. But kind of bringing it back around to the environment, but everything else too that Linda said. I think a lot of it boils down to personal responsibility.
Yes.
We can no longer just be complacent and think that the government or other people are going to take care of us, or that the government is going to make the right choices for us.
That's right.
We have to be personally responsible in everything that we do, and that one of the biggest ways to do that is awareness, not just awareness of organics or what's going on in the environment, but as Linda was saying, self-awareness, personal awareness too of who you are, what kind of person you are, and how you want to interact, with other people as well. But it all boils down to what decisions we make on a daily basis, and how we choose to interact with another person, how we choose to interact with other drivers on the road.
Yes.
Every little choice that we make, when we listen to our higher self and make that higher choice, gets us closer to spiritual evolution and raises the whole consciousness of everyone, because all boats rise with the tide.
Oh my gosh, that's right. OMG. Like, this was really good. This was really profound. And I appreciate you sharing your wisdom and knowledge with us today. But, my main concern is I want people to start asking questions. Why is this and why is that? Instead of just going with the herd and just kind of following everybody and just putting everything in your mouth, and you don't know what's going on in your brain. You don't understand why you can't stop. You can't do this. You can't do that. You're not focused. You can't, because your spirit, again, like Linda and Carla said, is not balanced. And I think that that's what we need to focus on in this decade, is how can we get our soul, our spirit, our inner man in balance so that we can be better people to each other. Because right now, all of that hype, everything else that y'all are so focused on, even money now, is looking simple. Right now, what matters is our heart. Is the heart of the matter is each other. How can we come together to make a difference? Because we can no longer, like you said, stand and sit still and act like nothing's going wrong, and we're not standing up. If you don't like how things are going, let's do something about it. I don't know what's going on. I have been burning in my spirit to make a difference. And I know we're running out of time, but if you would allow me to get this in, because we have to talk about this. This is why we're here. And if we need to switch, just let me know. I really need to get this out. So, Carla, I want to talk on 5G just 2 minutes, because this is important that we don't pick up stuff that's going to cause more havoc in our lives. Kind of tell us the health concerns or the health effects of 5G really quickly.
Well, the thing is that 5G is a really new and pretty much untested technology, and we don't really know the long-term health effects of it. And they're in a big rush to roll it out, because they know that once people discover it, they're going to be against it. And in fact, many countries already are either halting, slowing down, or completely banning 5G, saying that they aren't going to let their people be guinea pigs. And I applaud those countries for taking those actions.
Yes.
And I think you can see more cell towers going up every place. And one of the things that's different about 5G is it uses millimeter waves, and they're smaller, more targeted and focused waves. And they need more cell towers because the waves don't travel as far.
Right.
But there's more of them, and what they're trying to promote is that now you can run your Internet of Things. All the things in your house that are connected to the internet, you can run off this 5G. They're still going to keep 4G, however, for other things,
yes.
right? So now we are walking around every day, and even more of these radioactive radio frequency is going to be going through our bodies, and studies have shown that that's detrimental not only to humans, but also to plants and to animals.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I think you see a lot of the marketing and advertising is about how much more you can do, and they say that it's going to take the lag time from our videos and things downloading from 20 to 30 megaseconds down to 10 megaseconds.
Wow.
Well, I don't know about you, but I get bored waiting for my stuff to download that extra 20 milliseconds.
And it drives me crazy because I'm always constantly uploading, and my phone is so slow right now. I'm like,
the thing is, though,
this
that
thing?
what did we do 20 years ago? We had
Right.
to actually, or 30 years ago, we had to get up and walk over to the TV and turn the channel.
Right.
What did we do? But the fact is that we need to realize that we can't get so complacent and so lazy, really,
No.
that we expect everything to happen yesterday, because that's pretty much what it is.
Right.
And what we're going to do is what we need to do is look at, does the risk outweigh the benefit?
wow.
Cause
Wow.
effect, yeah.
Because there's a lot of risk.
And what are some of the risks really quickly?
What are the
is it? What are
consequences?
Well,
Yeah.
the frequencies, they've already shown that there's been increases in different types of, I think it's called gliomas or tumors in people's heads that are on the side of the ear that they usually talk on the phone.
Wow.
There's more neurological effects, psychoneurological effects.
Psycho is big. That's why I feel like a lot of people are offing themselves in this season because of artificial intelligence.
People having difficulty sleeping.
Yes.
There's all kinds of things you could probably just name it, and it would have an effect on that. But the fact is that we are energy, as Linda said, and energy is a frequency. And now you're beaming a whole new frequency at our bodies, and that's just not good for us. And I don't want to get into a lot into anything negative, but I will say that certain militaries have used the 5G technology as a non-lethal crowd control weapon, and it can cause skin lesions and other things on humans. And that's just not a good thing when you have towers every 500 feet or so, for 500 houses.
Not good.
We don't want to give any government or any person that kind of power. And I think if it's lethal in bigger doses, we don't even want to know what little small things it could be doing. DNA changes,
5G
things like
is
that.
big stuff. I mean, it can disperse the clouds in the sky for military use. I mean, it's huge stuff, y'all. You gotta read. Lack of knowledge will destroy man.
Yeah, but
it will.
and then what do? You need to get in touch with your representatives
Oh,
and say,
come on.
do
Right.
not,
Yes.
do not vote for it.
Yes, there
You know,
you go.
if we don't take that action, I mean, we could listen to all this and say, oh my God, I mean, what can I possibly, little
Right.
old me, do? You
Vote.
could pick up the phone. You could send an email. Okay, instead of spending that 15 minutes looking at people's whatever on Instagram,
Do something
send
proactive.
something proactive
Yes.
because every person matters.
It does.
We are in this together. And we
Absolutely.
have to team up.
Yes.
We have to.
We have to. We have to. Well, guys, that's it on this one because time is out. My engineer is looking at me like, girl, get out this thing. Because we have one more guest here. So, guys, thank you so much for joining this party with a purpose. I appreciate you. Please let the audience know how they can find you online and tell them, where you can find them on social media and all that good stuff. Really quickly.
Great. Well, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of this.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
How can they get in touch with you, Carla?
Well, I gotta think here a
She's
second.
working on our
I'm
book, I know
Facebook.
that.
I'm on Facebook, so
Okay, so,
I look here.
message me on Facebook if you like.
Yes.
and I have a page on Facebook called Awakening You 2.
Okay.
Spell out Awakening, the letter U and the number 2, Awakening You 2 on Facebook. And that'll take you along a path.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. All right, guys, stay tuned. We have another guest, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We have one more.
Tears I'm gonna shed. We're label, so I dropped the label. Get it straight from the streaming, so I cut the cable. There's a difference between a legend and a fable. They didn't have enough seats, so we built another table, yeah. Look, I don't want the beef and I don't want the bacon, yeah. I told all my haters, assalamu alaikum, yeah. I threw shots at Satan, they were faith and patience, yeah. I threw shots at Satan, he won't make it. I'm happiest when listening to sad songs. Had a lot of good friends give me bad thoughts. Pulled in different directions like I am Cat Dog. Finally called the label and told them this is my last song. A lot of people don't like the way that I rap, dog. You know your choir director listen to Mask Off. I've been captured by beauty, I hope it catch on. I'm just doing my duty, I hope you find yours. I told me he got me, no doubt like I'm Gwen Stefani. Been so blue like Sonic, I don't wanna be more cool than honest. I got hooked like phonics, on follows and likes and comments. I'd rather have applause than closing on $1 million. But I'm growing old, not worried about so-and-so. On my way up, like I was headed up to Roanoke. Only master that I have was risen, then ascended. That's why I got my masters back, I do this independently. I don't need a label, so I dropped the label. Get it straight from the streaming, so I cut the cable. There's a difference between a legend and a fable. They didn't have enough seats, so we built another table, yeah. Look, I don't want the beef and I don't want the bacon, yeah. I told all my haters, assalamu alaikum, yeah. I threw shots at Satan, they were faith and patience, yeah. I threw shots at Satan, he won't make it.
More wins than a LeBron team. We got more V's than a garage scene. Deal card, he wasn't capping. God did it, the deal's off, I peeled off. Reason for speeding, the real caught it like Randy. It's the season, they wanna beat down like Brandy. The victory mine, they say that history mine. And not to mention, I get different with time. Bumping P, I'm thinking G, it go insane. You can't beef with me, my brothers ain't got it made. I can't beef with you, my brother gonna be on my case. I know a thing or two about getting through the game. I struggled, I know the difference from rap and real wins. The real win in the long run. Yeah, it take a minute but feel different. Or get a deal and deal with it.
Yeah, P. I don't need a label, so I dropped the label. Get it straight from the streaming, so I cut the cable. There's a difference between a legend and a fable. They didn't have enough seats, so we built another table, yeah. Look, I don't want the beef and I don't want the bacon, yeah. I told all my haters, assalamu alaikum, yeah. I threw shots at Satan, they were faith and patience, yeah. I threw shots at Satan, he won't make it.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Oh, glory, glory.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, the spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots, we on the ground. The camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Oh, glory, glory. Now the war is not over, victory isn't won, but we'll fight on to the finish, and then when it's all done, we'll cry glory, oh glory, oh.
Selma is now, every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never look back, we done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, heroes, to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was the people. Enemy is lethal, a king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald ego. No one can win a war individually. It take the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes have seen the glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, glory. Oh.
All right, we are back in action, and we're going to go ahead and fire away. I wanted to bring in a very special guest today. Her name is Tracye Hamler. And, you know, we kind of talked about it in the last show just a minute ago about how to break through fear. And she has an upcoming retreat that's called Fearless Women Retreat coming up, what is it, March 20th? Through the 22nd or the 23rd? 22nd. So Tracye, tell us what inspired this beautiful movement that you got going on.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes.
So Fearless Women was inspired because, one, I was in the military, and I knew I needed, something to do outside of that organization once I retired. So I decided to join Bedroom Candy. Bedroom Candy is an adult toy company. It's a luxury adult toy company. And in joining that company, I developed relationships with many women and networked through, various experiences. But what I realized in doing Bedroom Candy was there was a need of women's support through various levels.
Yes.
So I was like, wow, let me see what I could come up with. So I decided to come up with Fearless Women Retreat.
I love it.
So the Fearless Women Retreat is designed to inspire and empower women to be the best versions of themselves.
Yes.
So I really just felt the need to have a sisterhood. I also was passionate about connecting with women and building them to reach their next level. I'm super inspired when women are boss women. And at my retreats, we do workshops. We talk about sexuality.
Yes.
We talk about mental abuse and just so many other different things. And most importantly, we just connect and share and support one another. So I brought actually one of my speakers here to help kind of facilitate and tell you guys what we do and how we connect. So Miss Tracye Bryant Swint is here.
Yes.
And what's your take on Fearless Women?
Well, first off, thank you again for inviting my boss up over here.
Yes, I'm glad to have you.
The beautiful thing about the Fearless Women's Retreat is that there's women that come from all over the country. So it's not just a resident of Atlanta. It is affecting women everywhere.
Yes.
And another beautiful thing that I love is that the speakers just really give of themselves.
Woo!
And we just don't have like random conversations.
And I have to stop you right there, Tracye, really quick. Y'all have a banging lineup.
Yes.
Like crazy fire is gonna be in that room two nights in a row.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be talking about finance, business, mental health, sensuality, spirituality, sisterhood.
Yes.
All of these things that get our fires.
Yes. Come
burning.
on, baby.
So it is definitely somewhere where I've learned. Like Tracye said, I've been with her from the very first one.
Wow.
And I have seen the growth. I have seen the transformation of the women who have come, who have returned, and then the newcomers, and how they just leave once again on fire.
Ooh.
But not only do they leave on fire, they leave with purpose.
Come on, baby.
And that is so important because the
is.
world will tell us who we are if we let it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
But when you come from this retreat, you have engaged with women from all over. So we've created a sisterhood, and everyone is there to lift one another up. So it's such a beautiful experience. I am one of the speakers again this year. So
and if
I
got
chills
if
all
you
over
can't
me.
tell, she is a firehouse. They actually request for her to come every year.
Wait, I'm so excited about it. I
Yes.
can't even sit still in my seat. I mean, your spirit is so magnetized.
Thank you.
Woo! I can feel that Holy Spirit coming on through, honey.
Yes.
And look, y'all, I'm gonna talk about that lineup. They have some incredible people that are going to be in the room. Please tell them who's going to be. Y'all got Darlene McCoy.
Yes.
Okay, y'all know Darlene McCoy. Praise 102.
That's our sister.
Okay, that's honey. She's a universal sister.
Right.
Yeah.
God has placed a calling on her life she don't even see yet.
Right.
But Darlene, if you hearing that, I love you, girl. Can't wait to see you in the retreat. But also you have Monica Brown from, Vice President of Pandora Sirius XM. That's big. She's so motivating. Huge. Oh my God. All these boss ladies. You got Yaz Franco, which is my girl, because that's my domestic violence sister. I had her on the show and talking about her experience with domestic violence. But all three of the people that I just asked, I've had them on the show.
Right.
Previously.
Awesome. Right.
And so it's just so funny how God works it all out in full circle.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy to you?
It's
I got
really
chills.
crazy. And then we also have other surprises. Just because you don't see a lineup don't mean we won't have other surprises that's going to be there.
Of course.
So I have someone by the name of LaTanya Tripp Dinkins who is actually going to talk about mental health and all that kind of stuff. So I'm super excited about her. I also have Margie Ford, who is an expert when it comes to health and wellness. She is also teaching us belly dancing and Tai Chi. So we have activities that we're doing. We're doing fire pit affirmations. And the food is just awesome. So you're not only going to have a great time and learn new things and be inspired and empowered, but you're going to eat good.
Yes.
We're going to have some fun.
And
You're going to feel good.
Yes.
Now, I want to know because it's a different season. We're in a different season, a different generation, and a different time. And I have to bring that back to full circle because that's what we're talking about in the beginning of the show, and that's how we got to end it. What are y'all going to do to make an impact on this new season at the retreat? Like, what is your main focus for the women there?
My main focus for the women is to live with passion and purpose.
Yes.
Like, don't do anything that doesn't move you in this season.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Life is too short to not live every day with intention.
That's
you
right.
know? So my goal for my ladies is to just be intentional in everything that they do.
Yes.
And which is why we have the workshops, because the workshops are going to give them, opportunities to, one, develop some additional streams of income that they may not otherwise know about.
Right.
But it's also going to give them a new outlet, on how to think about life in a different aspect.
She wants to talk on the mic, mommy. She wants to get on that mic.
So we have little Miss Sarai here, and the reason why I brought her is because Sarai is also a new beginning for me. Actually, when I met Tracye, like she said, she's been coming to the retreat since day one, and this is our 3rd annual. Well, she told me that she saw a little girl in my future.
Wow.
And I was like, Miss Tracye, I'm not having any more kids.
Ooh,
My son,
wait.
I have a 14-year-old. Yeah, I have a 14-year-old, and he's going to be 15. And I was like, no, kids are just not happening for me.
No, that's not how nice she said. No, she didn't say it that nice.
How did she say
She said, girl, I don't know what you talking about. That ain't me. I ain't have no baby. Miss Tracye, gone. Just gone.
Right.
Energy.
Right.
Yeah, she's saying it rather nice right now.
And she was like, okay, well,
give it 2 years.
Yeah,
give it 2 years.
Yeah. So that's the whole purpose of being intentional and being on purpose. You know, so when you actually feel something and the energy is where it's supposed to be, then that's how you walk in your divine destiny.
Yes.
And Tracye is a great asset to the retreat.
I see
the ladies love her.
I see
and that's why she had to be here. Like I knew you would love her. I knew this would be a great connection.
I love it.
And
I love it.
I'm excited for everyone to meet her. I'm excited, for the ladies to come. Like I said, I have so many surprises.
I'm so excited.
And it's gonna be dope. It's dope
gonna be
on
fire.
I'm so excited to just be among all of these awesome, bad boss business.
I'm telling
taking care of things and making things happen.
But you gotta look at it deeper than that, Tracye. And I'm listening to you. You over here prophesying about her children. It's the gift of prophecy is coming forth.
Yes.
And don't hold back. Don't be cute in this season. I don't even know. I don't mean to tell y'all what to do.
No, it's fine.
In this season, we gotta get back to that nitty gritty. How we used to be on the flow, slang coming out our nose, ponytails falling out.
Yes.
Because y'all, all of us are suffering.
Yes.
We're in that suffering moment. So what can we do to shake it up, to make it feel a little better for us? Because we still got to push. We still got to push through this, this season.
And what I would say for the season, because you asked a very, very relevant question, because us as women, we are going through life, basically, a lot of people.
Come on.
We're going through life not knowing who we are.
Okay,
we're letting other people validate us, and we're constantly asking for permission.
That's it.
To be. Okay? And so it's very important in this season that we learn how to be authentic.
Come on, that's it.
Be unapologetic.
That's it. And that's a word.
Yeah.
And I think that we're hearing
titles. Yeah, not allow titles to dictate who we are. Yeah.
Yes.
Darlene said something. She mentioned something on my show. Like, I've interviewed her twice, but the first time I interviewed her, she said something about we need to get away from sitting next to each other, but sitting in circles. It's time to connect. It's time for relationship.
That's the sisterhood.
It is time it's time for relationship. I don't think we know how to relationship. Our culture is so bad. And I mean African Americans, yes, I said it, because I wanted to be best friends with some of the black people that I've encountered. I wanted to be that, beacon of light. But because of our mentality of being separated from slavery, let's think about it. We were separated from color, the color of our skin tone, the way we're built.
Yes.
All of these things, even the men, all of these things, we got to talk about those things because we got to break those generational habits of thinking. It's all about our mindset in this new generation, in this new decade. And if we can change our mindset to be unified, black women that are unified in all colors, it don't matter color. Let's get rid of color first of all. If we can do that, we can really take over the world.
Right.
Okay, let's not even talk about color anymore. Right? Why does that even matter? But the point is, when we know how to come together collectively, because black women, I want to say that specifically because we have a rare gift that we're not utilizing. Am I telling the truth? Or I'm just over here running my mouth?
No, you're telling the truth, but I want to say one more thing. I mean, it's easy for us to say, okay, let's not make this about color.
Right.
Because really,
it is about color.
Others make it more about color to where we have to react to it and be strong in who we are as black people. Because we have to own it because that's what it is. So a lot of times we're the main ones saying, let's don't think about color. However, we always have to be reactionary because of how we are treated.
That's so
because
that's true,
of the color, because of the race.
That's true.
And so, like I said, easier said than done.
It is.
It is really easier said than done. But you made a very valid point, honey, about us being black women and coming together. Because there was a time our grandmothers, our mothers' mothers, our great-great-grandmothers, they had to have that stick and stay. They had to have the camaraderie. Why? We weren't allowed into a lot of places and able to do a lot of things, so we had to depend on one another.
We did. I'm excited. I am fired up. Yeah. And I just want to know what ignites you to do what you love every day. What gives you that fire to keep going?
Just because I love women.
Yes.
Because I have a passion for women to win, and I was just telling Tracye, that it hurts me when we don't support one another.
Oh, that's yeah.
You know,
we really all have to do better.
Yeah,
in that area, and expound on. I had to stop right there. I think that we all personally have to take a personal responsibility on supporting each other, but not trying to trample over each other. It's a difference.
It is,
and that's why I lose a lot of disconnection from anybody. In this season, 2019, it was just hard for me because I found, and God just opened up my eyes to see what's real and who's not.
Right.
So I get that. I think that we get in this isolation mode of, you know what, people ain't no good. I'm gonna stay in my home, in my own hood. But that's not what God wants for us, honestly.
It's not.
I wanted to go there. I really wanted to be that woman and say, I don't want to fool with us no more. How many times have you said that, Tracye? And I said, I'm looking at you, Tracye, but I'm looking at you too, Tracye. How many times have we said, I ain't fooling with us no more?
Yes.
That's why I have to be the best example.
You got to
because,
go in prayer, honey.
I'm tired. And when I go in the store, and I got so fed up. I remember I was going to pass out some flyers for the company that I was working for. And I went in there, and I was so glad. I have a different persona when it comes to black women because of what's going on. We winning in this season, baby. We winning.
Yes, we are.
God is putting us up. So I'm like flowing in that spiritual arrogance. I'm walking, and I said, oh, we got a sister. I'm about to talk to a sister. She was a secretary. I was excited about it. Honey, she was, and this was recently. She was so rude to me. But you got to understand, I saw it deeper than that. I saw her pain. I saw her anguish. I felt her spirit. And I picked up on it. But even though I picked up on it and I felt empathy for her, because I'm an empathetic person, I looked at that woman and I did not leave without saying, listen, pass the information on to whoever needs to hear what I'm saying. But at the same time, let's be nice to each other. I gave her a look like, Tracye,
beautiful.
look, I looked at her and I said, and it was like a couple of weeks ago, it wasn't that long ago. I looked and I said, let's be nice to each other. Let's be good to each other.
Yeah.
And she looked at me like she saw a ghost, and I said, have a good day.
That's because you made her accountable.
You better change that attitude when you see your sister walk up in the door.
Right.
Don't you try to play me. I'm sick of
right.
I'm sick of y'all
That's
acting
right.
like you better than thou, and I owe you something because, okay, wait a minute. If I bring you on this show, and I have to say that, a lot of times we want to take somebody else's gift. Listen, this is your gift. I can't sit up here and say tomorrow I'm gonna start my own retreat. And guess what? I could start a retreat. Anybody can start a retreat.
Yes.
But if I go and call it fearless, that's not my production. That's not my content. That's not what God downloaded in my spirit to do. So now what am I doing? I'm stealing from you.
Yeah.
I'm stealing from my sister.
Yeah.
Instead of actually enhancing her gift and saying, Tracye, what can I do to help you with this movement of God? If we start looking at this and instead of trying to get on and think somebody owe you something, and guess what? Nobody owes you anything. You owe God. You owe him on what it is and what purpose you need to move forward with. So that's why it's important for us to stop being so messy, stop being so catty, stop using each other, manipulating each other for each other's needs instead of being there for each other. I think that's where we need to hone in on.
Right.
Tracye, what you got to say about that? And we got to get over it.
I totally agree. I think that the competitive piece is what has us at each other's, at odds. I think it's our air of lack, feeling like we're in lack somehow. That somebody's going to take something from us. If I get too close to my sister, she might dim my light.
Ooh.
But there's no way that can happen if you are really walking in purpose.
That's it.
If you understand and once again know who you are and you walking in purpose, you don't have to fear. That's what this fearless women's retreat is about. You don't have fear. I could shine my light. She could shine her light. You could shine your light. And guess what? We're going to have a big old
party.
Big old light.
Yes,
it just adds more to the abundance. But if you're walking in your birthright,
come on,
in your inheritance,
come on.
I don't have to fear Tracye's gifts. I don't have to fear your gifts. All of our gifts are needed for the kingdom and queendom of God.
And we need it
now.
We all need it.
And we need it for one another.
Right.
We do.
Instead of looking at me as a threat, look at me as a blessing.
Right.
I'll look at you as a blessing, like you blessed us today.
Yes.
Thank you so much again, Queen.
Tracye, you done blessed us today. Okay, thank you so much, Queen.
Right.
Thank you, Tracye.
No problem.
Yes.
No problem.
Woo,
And
Tracye, we ain't even made it to the
right.
treat yet.
And that just goes back to, like I said, being authentic and living on purpose, just like Tracye said, because you can't steal anything from me because I'm me and you. So even if you thought that, hey, I'm gonna take Fearless and do Fearless.
You know what I'm saying?
It ain't
gonna
never be the
bother
same.
because you God has appointed your own audience,
Right.
And so I had to learn that, and see, everything's a learned behavior. When I started getting into this industry, it was a little weird for me because I'm like, okay, people are coming after me. They want something. They do that. They want that. They ready to get on. They do that. Okay, I was okay with it at first because I was naive, but at the same time, ask for discernment in every relationship that you have, because honestly, we don't live in a perfect world,
right?
And we do have dark and light, and we got to understand who we connect with. It's very important.
Yes.
Who you connect with and who is surrounded with you in your gift and in your purpose. Because everybody can't go, and some people can't stay. Even if they get put on, they can't stay.
That's
you
right.
Better
You
teach.
see,
You better
you
teach.
see, I ain't laughing on
They
that
get
one.
put on, they still can't stay. You better teach, baby.
Okay, oh my God. I'm having a good time. But I have to end this thing. And y'all, thank you so much for joining live. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for coming and tuning in every week on IBNX Radio Network from 1 to 2 p.m. This is how it goes down. All right, guys, thank you so much. And you got to tell them where it is and how they can order these tickets before we go.
Okay, so you can go to Eventbrite and look for Fearless Women.
Yes.
No S, just Fearless Women Retreat. Find us on Eventbrite. You can also find me on Instagram at Tracye Hamler. That's TRACYE HAMLER. The link is in the bio.
Yes.
What else?
Tracye Bryant Swint.
Yep.
SWINT. You can also find me Facebook, Instagram, and of course, I'm also directing people to Tracye Hamler for the Fearless Women's Retreat. Yes.
Guys, you have to go. Get your tickets. Again, you got Pandora in the building. You got Praise 102. Is it 0.7? 102.7?
102.5.
Oh, sorry. 102.5 will be in the building, and so many other powerful women, powerful moguls that will be used that weekend. So please come on, let's have a good time. Let's party with a purpose, baby. What? All right, I'll catch you next week. It's getting real hot up in here because we are so fired up.
Thank you.